Hey there, welcome back to Special Educators Resource Room podcast. This is Jennifer from Positively Learning. Today, I want to talk about something that has been coming across my feed lately. Maybe you've seen it too. It's the idea that task completion, compliance, and structured work might be the problem. That if students are just completing tasks, they're not really learning. And I want to talk about that because I think there's a really important distinction being missed. On the surface, I get it. If you're picturing a student clicking answers, rushing through something, just trying to be done, yeah, that doesn't feel like deep learning. And if that's what we mean by task completion, then sure, that's a problem. But that's not what I mean when I talk about independent work, not even close. When I talk about task completion, I'm talking about a process, and it looks like this. Starting a task, staying with it, understanding what to do, working through it, finishing it, and then moving on to the next. That's the skill. And for a lot of students, it's not automatic. It's something that has to be taught. When I say task completion, I'm not talking about checking a box. I'm talking about a student sitting with the task and not immediately looking around the room for help. I'm talking about them picking something up and knowing how to begin. Maybe there's hesitation, maybe a pause, but that's not the full shutdown of, I don't know what to do. And then hopefully the student is staying with it, even when it's not perfect, and they're finishing something. Because finishing something, that's the skill. And then they're reaching for the next task without needing someone to prompt them every step. That whole sequence, that's what we're building. You've probably seen the other version of task completion before. A student opens something, clicks, guesses, submits, moves on. And if you ask them what they just did, they might not even be able to tell you. That's probably the version people are talking about when they say task completion is compliance. That's the problem. Now let's look at a completely different version. A student sits down. They pick up a task. They look at it, they pause for a second, and then they start. No one is standing next to them. No one's walking them through it. They know what to do, and they work through it. Maybe not perfectly, but they stick with it. They finish it. And then, this is the part that we want to watch for, they reach for the next task. That's not compliance. That's independence. Because when a student can do that, that's not just getting work done. It's working independently, following a sequence, building stamina, experiencing success when they complete the task, managing their time. Those are life skills, not school skills, life skills. So when I hear the conversation about task completion is the problem, I think we might be talking about two completely different things, apples and oranges. One is low engagement, click through, just get it done work. The other is structured, supported, independent task completion. There's a big difference between someone clicking through something just to be done and a student who is working through a task from start to finish and then moving on to the next task. One looks like rushing, guessing, checking out, and the other looks like focus, routine, confidence. And if you've seen both, you know exactly what I mean. They are not the same, not even close. And here's something I really want to say out loud. We're not teaching students to complete tasks so that they stay busy. I think that gets misunderstood a lot. This is not keep them occupied so that we can go do something else. Because if you've ever had a student who can't start something on their own, you know how big of a barrier that is. This is about giving them a way in, a way to begin without waiting, a way to continue without constant prompting, and a way to finish without someone hovering right next to them. That's not busy work. That's independence. And here's the other side of it. If a student doesn't have the skill, every single task can become a starting point problem. They might be waiting. They might be looking around. They may be asking for help, or they're avoiding it altogether. And we know that that is frustrating When that's happening, it feels like every step of the process is requiring an adult, which is you. Not because students can't learn, but because they don't have a way to get started. And when you see it like that, teaching task completion isn't busy work or staying productive. It's about access. Now, I have to be very honest. I feel like I'm creating this problem. It's something I definitely need to check myself on because I have said many times, set up your independent work system so you have time to teach small groups. And that is a benefit, but it's not the reason. The reason is not so students are occupied while we do something else. The reason is so students can do something on their own. It is completely different. When students are able to work independently, they're not waiting, they're not stuck, they're not dependent on someone to start every single thing. They have a way to begin, a way to continue, a way to finish, and that's building confidence, consistency, and capability. And yes, as a result of that, you get some space. You get time to teach, pull groups, take data. It's the outcome, but not the purpose. So no, I don't feel that task completion is the problem. The problem is when the tasks don't require thinking, they don't build skill, and they don't support independence. But when the tasks are designed well, they don't limit students, they give them access. From the outside, structured work can look repetitive. It can look very simple. It can look like, oh, they're just doing tasks. But what you don't always see is what the student couldn't do before. They couldn't start, they couldn't stay, they couldn't finish, and now they can. That's not less learning. That's foundational learning. If you've ever second-guessed yourself and thought, should I be doing more? Is this rigorous enough? Am I missing something? I just want to say, if your students are working independently, starting, staying, finishing, you are building something that most classrooms are still trying to get to. You're not creating compliance, you're building capability. And that matters more than anything. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you being here. I'll catch you next time in the Special Educators Resource Room. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'm dying to ask, what'd you think? Be sure to hit the follow or subscribe buttons so that you never miss an episode. You can find the show notes and links for everything mentioned in this episode at positivelylearningblog.com. See you next week for more special education solutions.